Walker Dead here, back again with another live stream for you guys. This is my live stream talking about The Walking Dead Season 11A. So those of you that are just coming in, alrighty, so to start off this discussion, we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead Season 11A as a whole, and what did I think of it? I think it was pretty decent. Pretty decent. Like I said before, it was okay, but wasn't good, but wasn't bad either. Alrighty. What else? Let's talk about the positive. I mean, I really did enjoy the scenes with all the characters, like with Rosita, Carol, Magna. They're pretty good, pretty cool scenes. I will commit, I did not like the opening scene for season 11, episode 1. I think it was a little too girlish. Like, what I mean by that is, I feel like they're focusing, I guess they're trying to focus on some of the female characters, and I'm like, uh, should you really be focusing on this for your final opening sequence you'll ever really, get? Considering this is the final season of the Walking Dead TV show, especially for your first season premiere. I mean, I don't know, it is what it is. But I mean, the season was. I mean, the first half, like I said, it was more as like more okay slash decent, decent more than people bashing on it, being like, oh, it was stupid. Hey Brian, welcome to the stream. I was just talking about the opening minutes of season 11 episode 1 and my honest opinion as to why I didn't like it. How are you? I'm doing really good. How about you? If anyone has any other questions, leave them in the chat. Happy to read them. Where was I? What was I talking? Yeah, the opening minutes. It was like I said before, too too girly, too out there. Like, why? I did like they had the women go down because they are lighter. True, but I'm like, okay, if you're gonna have a scene like that with all your women characters in the Walking Dead TV show, especially in season 11, episode 1 of the Walking Dead TV series, like, I'm like, okay, if you're gonna have something like that, why don't you have like some other guys there, like say Aaron, even if it's not a lot, why can't you just have like say Aaron or like Father G, Daryl? I mean, why did you have characters like that other than just having a whole scene focusing on all the women? I don't know. It almost makes it seem like a little, a little like a woman thing. Like, I don't know. They're like, it's like they're trying to make like this whole woman thing, and I'm just I don't know how to feel about it. But a drop. Daryl's blood woke up. Entire horde. What do you mean by that? Yeah, the show needs more dudes. XT, yeah. I mean, again, I don't have a problem with the female characters. It's just when they do scenes like that, especially for your final season premiere, especially when you know it's the final season, it's like, really, you're gonna have your opening minutes start like that? I don't know. It just did a little cheesy, in my opinion. The Walker woke up. That was weird. Yeah, I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, what? So you're gonna have this weird. I'm like, what was that? Was that like a dream scene, or was it supposed to be a dream scene, or you're just like trying to do something weird? Because that's what it looked like to me. They're trying to do something supernatural, and I'm like, well, walkers don't really do that in The Walking Dead, so it's hard for people to be like, oh, that's a normal thing when that never really happened. So pros Commonwealth and Maggie versus Negan. Maggie versus Negan. I will talk about that first because I did not like that. Don't get me wrong, the whole subway thing, it was okay, but it could have been better handled if they, I don't know, maybe took more time into it. But it was more of an okay type of scene. Not that it was bad by any means, but it was just one of those things where it could be okay, like could have been okay. Commonwealth. Yeah, Matt. All right, let me talk about Let me talk a little bit about Negan versus Maggie first, because in season 11, episode 1, and this is known, yes, that they were both in the wrong. Maggie was wrong for leaving her own people without, saying goodbye. Just like Negan was in the wrong for, like people already said, like Negan leaving Maggie, even though I understood why Negan did that, but some people can want to jump the gun saying like, oh, it was still wrong, and I agree it was still wrong, but you have to understand from Negan's perspective. Like if it was like you or somebody else that that had this person that was trying to kill you, would you wanna like be like, no, I don't wanna be with this person, or etc. I don't know. But like I said before, nobody, even if you rewatch that scene, you would easily see that nobody was in the right, because that's true. Nobody was in the right. Nobody was in the right at all. Commonwealth. Now, in regards to Commonwealth, I like the Stephanie. I really like the Stephanie. The TV show Stephanie they picked pretty decent. Not gonna lie. But I didn't like the interrogation scene where they're like, "Oh, what do you use to wipe your booty?" I just didn't like that, because even myself, I'm like, "What?" Out of all the questions you can ask, and that's one of the questions you ask. I don't know. The whole interrogation scene was weird. That's why, in my opinion, it should have been with Lance, because with Lance in the show, he's more like, he's not like his counterpart where he's an ass. No, he, Lance in the show is better. And I feel like if it was him doing the interrogation scenes with, say, Ezekiel and Eugene and Princess and the other characters, I mean, that would have been fine by me. I don't know. I feel like they dive down a little bit, like not like mess up the Commonwealth. I mean, it's like they chickened out on some things for the Commonwealth, if you know what I mean. Cons Reapers after episode 3 missing characters and a little too much women focus over guys. It's too forced. Yeah, I'm like, first of all, that's a flaw. Like, how are you gonna focus on more of the female characters when you're not even gonna focus on other characters like Father G or Negan? I mean, that's what I don't like about what Angela King is doing, because it's like Angela King is trying to be biased by showing all these women, and I'm like, well, being like having these biased scenes is something The Walking Dead doesn't even need. So the fact that you're having these scenes, especially when it's the final season, it's like, why? It just, I don't know, makes people. You also have to think too, like, like not to. It's like, really, you're gonna do this? I mean, people could get easily offended by a scene like that, where someone's like, "Oh, you're being biased all because you're showing all these women in this one specific scene without having characters like Negan or Father G in it." I don't know. What's up, Rowdy? Welcome to the stream. Taka Walker. What do you mean by that? in this world gone mad. You talking about World Gone Mad, or are you talking about Walking Dead? It's springing out of control. I mean, I don't know what you're trying to say. Are you trying to talk about something World Gone Mad related or something Walking Dead related? Because if so, keep in mind this is still a Walking Dead stream. So and again, not to be rude, I'm just saying because it's still Walking Dead stream. World Gone Mad is good. I agree, 100%. Do you think we will see the other parts of the Commonwealth, the other communities? Uh, if they're gonna do the other parts of the Commonwealth, it has to be the second half of the show. It has to be the second half. As for the other communities, what other communities can you really show? Because in the show, the sanctuary's gone, the kingdom's gone, Hilltop is supposed to be gone at this point, and I'm like, well, at this point, why don't you just rebuild Hilltop and the sanctuary and the kingdom? Because we all know Oceanside's not going to come. Like Oceanside's community, we all know by now it's not going to come back. Because if it was going to come back, it would have came back in say season 11A, but that never happened. So also we need more depth. Agreed. Rowdy, what do you think of Alexander giving a water bottle in season 2, episode 10? It was a nice scene. It was definitely a decent scene, but Rowdy, please keep in mind we're talking about Walking Dead related, Walking Dead related content in here, and not World Gone Mad related content, because this is a Walking Dead season 11 stream where I'm talking about the Walking Dead season 11A, not World Gone Mad. However, if you want to talk about the Walking Dead season 11A with us, you are more than welcome to do so. And again, not to be rude, I'm just letting you know for future references because this is a Walking Dead stream. So, Greenville and 3 other communities, I think. Oceanside is the worst. In the show, yeah, absolutely. The kids were great this half. I loved them all. They were okay. They were okay. I wish I could hug Judith. So sad. Yeah. Yeah, Oceanside. Angela Kang. People want to say Angela Kang did Oceanside really good, but she didn't. She didn't do Oceanside justice. And that's what frustrated me because back then I was like, yes, Angela Kang's gonna be since Angela Kang's gonna be showrunner, she's gonna have Oceanside and probably have them play a big part role in like season 9 or 10 or 11. And guess what? That never happened. I wonder why. Oh yeah, the showrunner doesn't care about Oceanside. Doesn't care enough to have them in their story. And that's definitely an issue because Angela Kang did so much with Alexandra and the Hilltop. She could have at least done something with Oceanside, like, oh, I don't know, maybe have show them more. LL. Also, what happened to Vincent? Is that another character that was introduced that I'm not knowing about? Unless you're talking about something completely different. Is he a comic book character? Is he a new character that was just introduced in the show? Is he a character that will appear in the second half of The Walking Dead season 11B? Like the second half of The Walking Dead season 11? I mean, you gotta give me details. Yeah, Judith's bully. I don't understand. Like, why introduce? I even said myself. I even asked myself this question: why introduce all these new characters if you're not going to do anything with them? Why introduce these new characters just to, I don't know, like, He was better in the comic. He was Josh's dad. Oh, that guy, Vincent. Yeah, I remember him. Was he introduced in the show? I don't know if he was introduced in the show or not. But if he was, just let me know. And it could be something I'm missing. But if I'm missing something, please let me know. But yeah, I don't think the show ever did Vincent, if I'm not mistaken. Because wasn't he a really good supporting character in the comics? I think so. I believe so. Because he was actually in one of the issues where he was talking with Rick in the comics and he was talking about how his son got killed. So they made him the bully. What? That's stupid. I'm sorry, but that's so stupid. That's how you know right there. Angela King was like, "Oh, let's not have this comic book character introduced. Let's have this random kid, but let's have him named Vincent or Vince, whichever either." And I'm like, that's how you know right there. I'm sorry, but that's how you know Angela King did not read the comics. Because if he had this random TV show character named Vincent, I'm sorry. That's how you know she didn't read the comics. In my opinion, I'm like, okay, if you're going to have a showrunner for The Walking Dead, have it be someone who understands the franchise, like someone who read the comics, like Frank Darabont did. But the fact that they just had Gimple and Glenn Bizzara and now Angela Kang, who has proven they have not read the comics, just shows that no wonder seasons 3, 7, and 8 were bad seasons. Is because they had showrunners who was telling the writers to do all this crapola, and I'm like, well, it's obvious you didn't read the comic books, because if you did, you would know and understand that, for example, Angela was supposed to live and be with Rick. Just like the heads on spikes were supposed to affect every community, not just 2 or 3. Those are perfect examples right there. But anyway, going back to The Walking Dead season 11, I did not like, and yes, I have said this before, that they brought back Leah. I don't like how they just brought back Leah out of the blue just to be a villain, because that makes the character look bad. And then that's where you're going to have people like myself, and I bet you probably other people out there, that are going to be like, well, Leah's a shitty character now. And I'm like, no shit, because of Angela King. Because she had her little leprechaun-like writers in the writing room, and they're probably like, okay, let's have Leah come back as a villain. Let's have her betray Daryl. Let's have her do all this crazy stuff, like lie to Daryl, torture Daryl. Let's have Leah do all this crazy stuff with Daryl. And I'm like, are you serious right now? So you're basically pulling a fear where you brought back Cole just as a villain out of nowhere, and now they're doing the exact same thing with this character, making her a villain for literally no reason. And I don't care if some people do say, "Oh, it makes sense." I don't. I'm like, well, how can you even say something like that? Because when we first met Leah in The Walking Dead season 11C, she wasn't like that. So how can you be like, oh, it makes sense when she wasn't like that in season 10C? So why are you just randomly making her like this out of nowhere? Why are you just butchering this character if this character was so likable with fans? Myself included, I liked Leah. She was pretty decent. I really liked her relationship with Daryl. Even if it was just for one episode, I really liked that relationship, and I wanted to see that come back eventually in season 11B or C. But no, these writers just brought back Leah out of the blue. And mind you, they had that in one of the teasers, and they made it so obvious. Like, looking back at it now, they just made her return so obvious. Like, why? I feel like Leah will attack Alexandra. Well, if she does that, she's gonna die. And I hope Leah in the show does die. Because at this point, let's be honest here. At this point, Daryl should just be by himself. He shouldn't get a girlfriend anymore. Like, he should just continue being a loner, like in this show. Because throughout the whole show, I kid you not, he's been a loner. So, at this point, just don't have her be with Daryl no more. Don't have Daryl just get a girlfriend. If anything, the rewrites. I feel like Dan's gonna do this in his rewrites better, having Daryl just get a girl, other than just them having Leah as a Reaper out of nowhere. And I'm like, bruh, she let Daryl and her dog join murderers and defend them. That's what I'm saying, Brian. That's what I'm saying. These writers brought her back as a villain for no reason. They brought back Cole. I kid you not. They brought back Cole in Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 14, out of nowhere. And guess what? They made him a villain. He even said it. Like, oh, I'm going to shoot you, Alicia. And I'm like, bitch, you ain't going to do nothing. You're a chicken. And guess what? That's exactly what they did in The Walking Dead Season 11A. Brought back Leah out of nowhere as a Reaper. And this is known because it pisses me off. It pisses me off as a fan. Because I even said this before, and I will say it again on stream. If it doesn't make sense for the story, do not do it. Same with Morales. Thank you, Brian, for bringing up that perfect example. Also, her hair is weird. It's been weird. I don't know what they were even thinking with that. Why dye her hair white? Are you trying to copy? Are you trying to have her as an evil Carol? Are you trying to pull that shit? Because if so, that's pretty shady if you ask me. Because now you're trying to make Leah like this evil Carol when that's not even the case. So the fact that they're trying to do something like that, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What story is left for Father Gabriel, Ezekiel, Carol, and Aaron? At this point, with characters like Father Gabriel and Ezekiel, they should just die. With Carol, she should have died a long time ago. Like, if they were going to kill Carol, it should have been like in season 8 or 9. With Aaron, with Aaron, I can see Aaron becoming the next leader of the Commonwealth if that's something they're going to do. But with Aaron, there's some story with the Commonwealth. There's some story they can pull there with Aaron. Just don't have Aaron get Rick's comic book death. Because I know he looks just like comic book. I know some people are saying he looks just like comic book Rick, but I'm like, well, if you kill off Aaron, then that's another character that's not going to make it towards the end of the show because you killed that character off. Same with other characters like Laura, Carl, Enid. Character, yeah, now Jesus, now Michonne, characters that were supposed to make it towards the end, and now those characters are not going to make it towards the end because they died and left because they were killed off the show or the actors wanted to leave. Dogs should be used more. I agree. The group needs to find out Rick is still alive. Only 16 episodes left. I don't know what they're doing with that. I don't know why they're just having Judith not say anything because if she knows her dad is still alive, then that's making the character look bad because you have these characters like Daryl and Carol who are close with Rick, and the fact that Judith is not even saying anything just for the excuse of, oh, I don't want Daryl to leave is pretty pathetic. It's pretty pathetic storytelling. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. Because Judith doesn't want them to abandon her too. Yeah, but it's still not good. It's still not good because if she knows and if Michonne knows that that Rick is alive, they should at least, or one of them should at least tell them that he's still alive. She's still a kid. I understand that, but it's still not an excuse to hide such a thing from the two people that know Rick pretty well. Because, like you just said, what is left for Daryl and Carol after season 11 of The Walking Dead? The fact that she's not, I don't know, the fact that she's not saying anything, especially when we're at our final season, it's like, well, now what? How did the Reapers have a truck? Exactly. How did they get a truck? It's like all these plot holes in the episode, and I'm like, why? Because let's be honest here. The Reapers just magically having a truck, you bet your ass that's a plot hole right there. Because they didn't even show that. They didn't even show how the Reapers even got that truck in the first place. So that's a plot hole. A very big plot hole. I don't like that they need food more than ever now. I missed a part of that of I missed this part of the story. Yeah, well, what? So you're telling me they just mysteriously need food out of the blue. You're gonna really tell me that they just need food out of the blue. Really? You can't come up with something better? At this point, Dan's rewrites, they're better than the main show. Because, yeah, they're better than the main show. Because at least with Dan's rewrites, he's doing some things that are really interesting. And not like, stuff like they're doing in the show where you have where they're having all these plot holes, and I'm like, bruh, yeah, for plot, lol, no fishing. I don't know why they don't fish for. Yeah, that's another thing too. Why don't you just fish for? Why don't you just go hunting for fish or something? If you're so desperate for food, why do you got to kill a horse for? And yes, I am talking about that scene where Carol killed that horse. And yes, I'm gonna bring that up because that was a stupid scene. It just showed Carol has not learned from her. It just showed that Carol was more messed up than we thought. So many dead horses. I don't understand that either. I'm like, really? Like Epic even said this. Like they keep killing off horses, and I'm like, I agree with that because I'm like, why kill off so many horses when you know there's like no motorcycles or like if you know there's literally nothing that can transport you anywhere. So why would you just be killing these horses when at the end of the day they're your last transfer, like your last transportation. I think Jerry said they are all gone now. Like what? Exactly. I'm like what? So you're really telling me that after seasons 8, 9, and 10, out of all the horses you had, you're just telling me they're all just magically dead? Like what? I'm sorry, but that's just wrong. I'm like, what? Has it been a week already for them? Well, Angela Kang loves to jump forward in time, so Angela Kang loves to do time jumps. So if there was magically like a 1 week time jump, yeah, I guess you can easily say that Angela Kang did that. Gabriel said that they have that much food. They don't. That wait, what? Gabriel said that they have that much food left. Yeah, but yeah, but I mean, again, if they really wanted to get food, why couldn't they just hunt for fishes? Why couldn't they go hunting for fishes other than just going around in circles killing the horses? If you wonder, like if you know what I'm talking about there. Also, Auden died off screen. Are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? Are you serious? Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It is confirmed right here on stream that Auden died off camera. It's on Wiki. I don't need to go on the Wiki because, well, I just found out now. I just found out now that he died off camera. How stupid is that? That's just so stupid. Now no, I kid you not. Now Enid's death in the show was pointless. He might have people are saying it. Then if they're saying it and if it's on the wiki, then that means it could be true. You don't know. It could be true because if you're telling me it's on the wiki and people are saying it, then it could be true. Because they haven't shown out in like they didn't show him in the mid-season finale. So the fact that they didn't even do that, it just have you questioning. It has you like questioning, like where is Auden? Where's he at? I'm like, really? You're gonna be killing characters off screen? It's another community? What other community? Commonwealth related? Or just another unknown community that no one's gonna care about? Like, really? Post City? Oh, that's what you were talking about. What's so important about this Post City community? What's so important about it? I mean, let's be honest here. What do we know about this random ass community? Nothing. We don't know anything about this community. People are talking about Post City like oh, it's the next Alexandria. When no, it's not. Unknown, exactly, because we don't know anything about it though. We don't know nothing about this community. They're not they're not like they're not Pacific. Literally nothing. Exactly. Because what's the point of this random new community that nobody knows about? But anyway, talking about the not the Commonwealth, but talking about the Reapers for a second. The Reapers, when we first met them, they were pretty decent. I'm not even gonna lie. It got me hyped. It really did get me hyped for the season. But then we get to later in the first half of The Walking Dead season 11A, like we get into the later part of it, the Reapers just decide to stop wearing their masks and they just become a liability and they don't even become interesting anymore. And I'm like, why? When you hype them up so much to be this next big threat. Because it was hyped to be the next big threat, the next bad guy after the Whispers. But the Reapers, I'm like, bro, really? You're not gonna wear your masks? You're not gonna? I'm like, bro. The Reapers, great introduction, terrible everything else. Yeah, pretty much. I agree with you right there. That, yeah, had a great introduction, but somehow you are magically able to mess up what made them so interesting in the first place. Also, they can't fight anymore. They're terrible. Exactly. Like, out of nowhere, it's like, I kid you not, in season 11, episode 3, they start killing mad people. Yeah, like they start killing mad people. It's causing like tension. It's causing suspense, and a lot of people are like, "Holy smokes! These people just came out of nowhere with mad machetes, and they're like invisible. Like they're wearing all this camouflage, and they're like invisible to the eye that nobody can like see in the woods, especially at night." And then yeah, like they kill like three people, and then out of nowhere, yeah, like out of nowhere, they just don't know how to fight anymore. Are they that dumb in writing an episode? Pope doesn't use a mask. They didn't even change Daryl one bit. No, they did not. And guess what? Like I agree. I agree with what you told me that Daryl. There was no point of Daryl being a Reaper, and I agreed with that because at the end of the day, there was no point in having Daryl a Reaper because it just felt like that another forced thing they're trying to force in the story for Daryl, and I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be Daryl with the Reapers. Why can't you just have say Negan with the Reapers, or say Father Gabriel with the Reapers, Rosita meeting the Reapers, if you know what I mean? They killed Duncan but can't kill a one-eyed priest. Oh my god. That's so true. Oh, oh my god. Yo. That's so true. They killed Duncan, who is a big like a big muscular type of dude who could slam anybody to the wall. And now you have like so little Reapers left who can't even kill Father G. That's so laughable. Rick's last episode was exactly 3 years ago today. Yeah, that's sad. That's crazy, and it's crazy and sad to think that 3 years ago, we lost Rick Grimes in the show. Like the legendary badass machete killing Rick Grimes in the TV show. And the fact that they and mind you, and yes, this is a perfect example, and yes, I'm putting that out there right now. They're still taking forever to announce something for the Walking Dead Rick Grimes movies. Because let's be honest here, it's been 3 years and they still haven't came out with the Walking Dead Rick Grimes movies. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying this as an example because, like you said, Brian, it's been 3 years ago today since we lost Rick Grimes in the show, and I'm still like, bro, why didn't they just? And I'm like, at this point, why didn't they just keep him in the show? Why didn't they just? Why couldn't they just have him in the show? Why couldn't they just kept Andrew Lincoln and Carl and Enid? Why couldn't they just kept them in the show? I don't understand. Why couldn't they just kept them in the show? Movie Idol said he will have to wait 2 more years for movie one. If that's what he said, then that's what he said. But if we have to wait 2 more years just to watch the first Rick Grimes movie, how are people going to be hyped when people are going to be like, well, you made us wait like 5 years for a movie you said was like filming, or said that the script was already finished. So how are you gonna? I don't understand. Like really, you're gonna make us wait 5 years for this one movie? At this point, just have it be one movie. Forget about doing a 3-movie trilogy. Just have it be one movie at this point. Even if it is like a 3-hour and something man movie, just have it be one movie. Because I'm telling you now, if they're just gonna have us wait like 2 more years just for this one movie, bro, like why? What? It's like what you do. Like what are you doing at this point? But anyway, that's what I thought about that. That's what I thought about the Reaper stuff, and that's what I thought about the return of Leah's character. Let's talk about Pope. Let's talk about Pope. Let's talk about the villain of this first half. Let's talk a little bit about Pope for a second, because the actor that played Pope, great job. Because the actor that played Pope was in a movie I still like to this day, and it's pretty decent. So, Pope was bad in your opinion? I respect your opinion. I can understand. Don't get me wrong, Brian. I can understand why you thought Pope was bad. But here's what I thought of it. I'm like, okay, you have Pope. They're setting him up. The actor they picked was pretty damn decent. But here's the problem. They barely did anything with his character in the first half of the season. Like, for example, they didn't have him wearing his mask. They didn't have him killing any characters that we cared about. Like, for example, like Lydia or Father Gabriel or hell, even Aaron. They didn't have that. And they didn't give Pope a proper backstory. I don't know if you feel the same way, Bri, but they did not give Pope a proper backstory. I'm like, okay, he was a priest, because that's obvious. He was a priest, but give us more of a reason as to why Pope is doing what he's doing now. Why did he form the Reapers? Why is he so messed up? Why is he crazy? Why is he the way he is? They didn't give us any of that. The glasses were silly too. I mean, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. Pope's backstory doesn't define his motives well. I know, that's the thing though, Bri. They didn't give us a proper backstory. He marked Maggie for no reason. That's another thing too. We'll never know the reason as to why he even marked Maggie. Because now looking back at it now, it's like people are like, well, now people are like, well, he marked Maggie for no reason, because now we'll never know. And I'm like, yeah, we'll never know. We'll never know why Pope marked Maggie. We'll never know why Pope formed the Reapers and why he was so messed up. Well, these are questions we'll never know now, because they killed, and yes, I'm going to say it, they killed off Pope too early. They killed him off too soon. And it's a shame, because you have an actor. You have a really good actor, Richard Navkar, if I'm not mistaken, a really good actor. It had to happen. I liked it, Maggie and Negan teaming up. I agree if that had to happen. Maggie and Negan teaming up. But what I don't agree with was how bad they handled the Pope character in The Walking Dead Season 11 A. Alternate Pope kills Leah in front of Daryl. That would have been better. Because if Pope killed Leah, that would have showed not only Daryl but all of his men that he's not messing around. That if he killed Leah right in front of everybody, that would have showed Daryl and everyone else that, hey, I'm not to be messed around with. I'm the leader of the Reapers. In my honest opinion, I would have been way better than what we got. Like, for example, like, who wouldn't, like, I'm like, okay, you have this scene between Daryl, Leah, and Pope. You have Leah and Pope fighting each other for leadership, because Leah doesn't agree with what Pope is doing. Like, she doesn't agree with Pope's leadership. You have those two fighting to the death, but in the end of the day, you have like Pope take out his knife and stabs Leah in the belly, and then he just grabs Leah and slits her throat. In my opinion, if that's what they did in the show, that would have been so brutal and so crazy, and that would have really caused a torn in Daryl because Daryl was close with Leah. So that, of course, that would cause a problem between him and Pope because Daryl really cared about Leah. He really did. So if that's something they did in the show, I feel like that would have been way better. That would have been way better than what we got. And imagine, like imagine after he kills Leah, Daryl is like on the ground crying, and he's like, "You see this, Daryl? If you even think about trying to betray me, this will be you next, and pretty soon, this will be not only you and your little dog right there, but that'll be everybody you know. It'll be Maggie. It'll be the priest, the talking asshole that talks too much." Like, if he said that, it would have been way better. And if he would have put on his mask after he said all that, that would have made the scene so dark. And I kid you not, a lot of people would have been like, "Holy shit, Pope is not a person to mess with." And hell, a lot of fans would have been afraid of Pope. Like, damn, this guy just killed Daryl's ex-girlfriend, and he's not playing games, and he's gonna attack Alexandra next. In my opinion, that would have been epic. That would have been better, and that would have hyped season 11B. That would have really hyped season 11B. And in my opinion, that would have been fantastic. A fantastic way to end your first half. You have the cliffhanger where Pope is putting on the mask, and he's like, he's like looking at, like he's literally looking at the camera. He's like, "Don't mess with me. I'm the leader of the Reapers, you crazy son of a bitch." Like, imagine that. That would have been way better. Way better. Thanks, man. You're very welcome. Because I agree with that. I agree with that, and I believe that's what should have happened at this point. At this point, that's something that should have happened. And it hurts me as a fan that something like that didn't happen. That we just had to have Leah as the next villain. And I'm like, why though? Pope, I knew what you were I knew what you were planning all along. That would have made him smart. Yes! Yes! That's what I'm talking about. That's something he should have said in that episode. I knew what you were planning all along. He should have said that in the mid-season finale. He should have said that line. I knew what you were all planning all along. And now you're going to pay. That's something he should have said right then and there. And guess what? That didn't happen. Because the writers want to be lazy. They wanted to be lazy and not do anything. Suicide Squad need more people. Chosen fixed this. Yes, he did. He Chosen. Shout out to Chosen One, because he actually made that a reality, where he added more people. Do you think Daryl will ever get really injured? Well, he technically did get injured multiple times, but in regards to this season, he didn't get injured one bit. Especially when he was getting tortured, he should have gotten really injured there. Because meanwhile, when someone, like, if someone's like torturing you for info, of course they're gonna go full-fledged violent on your ass, because they want to know, they want you to spill the beans. They want to know. They want to know what you have cooked up in that little treasure box. They want to know what they have. They want to know what you have under your bed. Can't ruin that pretty face. LOL. Yeah, I guess not. I guess not. I guess not. I guess they're too chicken to do something, though. I guess they're too chicken. I'm thinking like, oh, they're probably chicken at this point. I'm like, okay, you kill off like minor characters like Gage, that guy with the eye patch. I'm like, okay, you got balls to kill characters like that, but do you have the balls to, oh, I don't know, maybe make Pope more menacing, have Daryl change his look a little bit, or at least have Daryl like I don't know, like have like so beaten that that he's like looking at Leah like I don't know, like begging for his life or something. I don't know. But again, these people don't think outside the box. They don't think outside the box. Dog will survive. Agreed. That Gage scene was so messed up. It was messed up. And guess what? You can blame the Maggie character for that. Because Maggie was like telling like, everybody to not open the door. The only one that wanted to open that damn door was Alden. Alden wanted to open that door. But guess what? Maggie wanted to be selfish. Maggie wanted to be a jerk and not do nothing. Do I agree what Gage did? No, I don't. But that doesn't give you the right to be like, oh, we're just gonna leave this kid to die, and that's how it's gonna be. No. I bet you $5 if Rick was there, Rick would have been like, "What the fuck did you just do?" Rosita is amazing. She needs more. Yes, that's what I'm saying though. If they're gonna rebuild Hilltop, have her be the leader, please. Have her be the leader. She deserves it. She deserves to be the leader. I don't understand why it's always gotta be Maggie, Maggie, Maggie. Like really, Maggie's not a good leader. If anything, Jesus was and Tara were more of better leaders than Maggie. She will get more in Commonwealth. I hope so, and I hope it's not stupid. I hope it's not stupid because if it's stupid, I'm not gonna like it. It's just like them giving Michonne her comic book material in the show, and you have fans like me that are like, no, that's stupid. Don't do that. We're like, oh, that's retarded. Well, Tara and Paul Jesus stayed, so kind of. Yeah, that's true. Don't get me wrong. That's true, but there's no denying the fact that they did better job as the leader than Maggie. Hell, they did better. They did a better job as leaders of Hilltop than fucking Gregory. Gregory was a coward. Mercer and Princess are so cool. Agreed. If they do that relationship in the show, I have faith that they're gonna do it better. Because at this point, if they don't do it better, I'm gonna rant. I'm gonna rant. I'm gonna be like, well, you have there. Well, there you go. You have another relationship forced, and I'm like, why though? And I'm like, why? Yeah, it was too quick in the comic. Agreed. Exactly. It was quick in the comic because there's no denying that. There's no denying the fact that it was so rushed that they barely had any time to, get to know each other properly or hint at it. At least in my Walking Dead reboot series, with Maggie and Glenn getting together, at least with me, I took my time. Sebastian versus Daryl. This will be quick. Oh my god, that's so funny. Imagine Daryl meeting Sebastian, and Daryl's looking at him like you're a piece of garbage. That'd be so funny. To be honest with you, they should have for the show. They should have gender swapped Sebastian. As good as the actor is, They still should have gender swapped Sebastian. Like I'm like, okay, if you're not gonna gender swap Pamela, gender swap Sebastian in the show. And guess what? That's another thing they didn't do. They didn't do that. They did not do that. Sebastian, at least I don't smell like garbage. At least I don't have to throw up because now that Rick's not on the show. Daryl, fist punch emoji. That's funny. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Because then Daryl would just be beating on his ass. That would be so funny. That would be so funny. Now, I got a question for you guys. All of you watching the stream, type 1 in the chat if you're hyped for The Walking Dead Season 11B. Type 1 if you're hyped for The Walking Dead Season 11B. Type 2 in the chat if you're not hyped for The Walking Dead Season 11B. So what now? I have no idea what they're going to do now. But yeah, type 1 in the chat if you're hyped for The Walking Dead Season 11B. Oh, you type 1? All right, that's 1. Is there anybody else? Anybody else in the stream? I heard the plot synopsises. What are they? What are they? I'm just curious right now. Much better. They sound good. I'll see it to believe it. I'll see it to believe it. Sorry, man, just me. It's okay. It's okay. Like, I mean, it's okay. You don't have to apologize for anything. I'm just saying, like, I gotta see it to believe it because the amount of goofiness they pulled in the first half of The Walking Dead Season 11A, I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know about this. Movie Idol did a video on it, but Movie Idol does clickbait. He does clickbait now, you know that, right? And get this. So, you want to, I mean, with Movie Idol, he deletes his own videos. And I'm like, why? Why delete your own videos when those are the videos you made? Because, I don't know, Movie Idol is one of those YouTubers that does clickbait, like George Drake. He does clickbait. He clickbait, like, you know, he clickbait his videos. And I'm like, that's not how you do it, though. Like, do you not know how to do a proper YouTube video? If Juice goes to Commonwealth, she can finally be a kid. True, but here's the thing. She spent almost her whole life at Alexandria, and now that they're supposedly leaving Alexandria, I'm like, why? So I'm like, okay, you're gonna have Judith abandon Carl's memory by going to this random community she knows nothing about. When at the end of the day, she never spent her whole life at the Commonwealth. She spent her whole life at Alexandria. Just saying. I'm sorry, but Judith calling to the Commonwealth, I disagree with. I disagree with a lot. And I know everyone's entitled by their own opinion, but I'm just saying, as a fan myself, someone who has seen Judith, like, you know, grew up in the show, she literally spent her whole childhood, her whole life, mind you, in Alexandria. Pamela seems like the parent who lets their children do whatever. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because when you look at somebody like Pamela Milton, you'll probably be like, she's the worst mother, one of the worst mothers in this whole show. Because with Pamela Milton, in my opinion, she's not a good mother. She's not a good mother. those who are saying she's a good mother, well, I can bet you $5 right now that she's not. I can bet you $5 right now she's not. But anyway, what should my next stream be about? Brian, if you're still in the chat, type one in the chat. If my next live stream should be another rant live stream, or or type two if my next live stream should be about I don't know, like something else. Type one in the chat if it should be about the Clementine Labs comic, like the shitty new Clementine Labs comic, or two if it should be about something else. Type right now in the chat. Has Michonne been gone for months now? Supposedly. Supposedly that's what they're saying. That she's been gone for so many months. Focus section. Oh. One. Okay, I guess my next live stream I'm going to be talking about the shitty new Clem comic. God help us. God help us, please. God help us all. Because at this point, what I have read from the new Clementine comic, you guys already know right now I'm not hyped. I'm just not hyped. God help us all. God help us all, please. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next live stream coming, hopefully Thursday. God help us all with the cross of God. Yeah, please. Yeah, they ruined her. Absolutely. I'm going to be roasting that. Whoever wants to come in my stream and like roast with me of how shitty this new Clem book is going to be, let's go for it. Because at this point, I have no respect. I just have no respect for what they're doing right now with Clem. That's why I don't consider these new books of Clem canon. I really don't, because they're so trash and so garbage. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for my next live stream coming. Hopefully Sunday. I don't know yet, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted. If the Commonwealth gives Daryl a bike in the finale, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it too. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are they doing? Like, use a horse? Yes, use a horse. If he's not gonna have his bike no more, give him a horse. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you all in my next live stream coming, hopefully Sunday. In my next live stream, we're gonna be talking about the shitty new Clem book. And that's going to be pretty funny because I'm going to be roasting it a little bit. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, peace out. And special thank you to Brian for coming in my stream and joining me. And yeah, and as always, have a fantastic rest of your night. And as always, peace out.